Hello, it's me, Jesus Christ. You may know me as the Lord of all worlds. By the way, being Lord of all worlds is no small task. I am eternally busy and routinely fatigued. Today I'm at the White House, and my purpose for being at the White House is to examine the political environment of the United States. Since the establishment of the United States, I've kept a penetrating eye on this nation. I have quietly observed the United States throughout its succession of salubrious and ruinous acts. One of the highlights of this nation being John Fitzgerald Kennedy's presidency. JFK, what a sturdy man. He embraced a purely earnest vision for the United States, and what befell President Kennedy is exceptionally mournful. I'll leave it at that. JFK being a high point, and Vietnam War being one of the most effective periods in the American history. Throughout the Vietnam War, 58,220 U.S. soldiers died. This is according to the U.S. military archives. And precisely what was the Vietnam War about, I have to wonder? The reasons I've concluded for the Vietnam War, mildly indicated, are erroneous. Does the United States in fact bother itself with what a relatively small nation, thousands of miles from the United States, actually does? If the United States has to concern itself with every small nation, then one has to wonder how tenuous is the United States, and is losing nearly 60,000 soldiers worth such a remote conflict? Moving on, the current President of the United States is Donald J. Trump, and apparently no one saw his imminent presidency. According to many, Donald J. Trump has a questionable business past, with high debt issues to the banks. If so, then what could go wrong? And out of decency, I only use attractive images of the president and people in general, because unfortunately a large number of the populace form their opinion on just the photo image alone. One might be the most tender-hearted person, yet if their photograph isn't attractive, people will inexcusably reckon the person unpleasant. Back to President Trump. Personally, I have issues with his encouragement of violence, sexism, and racism. And yes, there is video proof of him supporting all of said behavior. His inflection is clearly in purpose of grouping certain people as social structures, i.e. immigrants, races. By the way, there's only one race, human. If people were actually of another race, you would not be able to breed with Mexicans or Arabs or blacks. I digress. I have a difficult time believing that President Trump is for the general well-being of all Americans. I'll leave it at that. And good luck to President Trump. May he care for all life forms in the United States, including animals, and all life in the world. Next in American politics is Nancy Pelosi. Well, who knows what this lady is about other than the fact that she looks ready to be sequestered in a retirement community. 70% of the wealth in the world is in the hands of people over 65 years of age. How about letting the moderately young manage the government, or is that asking too much? Also, at this point, I must add that the elderly should most definitely be treated affectionately and amiably. Not many issues agency more anger from me than the disrespectful treatment of the elderly. Love the seniors in your home and in your community. On to this president. What a foul era this man's presidency produced. A repulsive time, and the justice in the universe solicits suffering for this man. The blood on his hands and the lies his soul bolsters are a towering black mark on his eternal spirit. Enough of this man, vomit. May there be forbearance on his soul, even if it is not deserving. Succeeding Bush is this thing which reminds me of Nosferatu. As you can see in the abreast photos, the physical similarities are acute, although Nosferatu was in spirit a more preferable creature. United States, United States, United States. You have all the resources a nation could need or want. Resource-rich land, illustrious and remarkably large in size than most other nations. Yet I am to believe that you cannot accommodate your citizenry, much less immigrants. What happened to build a bigger table? Think about a bigger table. Goodbye, U.S. citizenry and the world citizenry. Au revoir and good luck.